Hello everybody, Klaire Fluffle here, back in action yet again to talk about Super Nintendo music. I know we've talked about a few SNES soundtracks already. Check out the earlier Kirby soundtrack rankings for Toy Box, Avalanche, and Dream Chorus. And, please give this video a like and ring that notification bell after subscribing if you enjoy, please. Those things help me out tons. Consider checking out my Patreon as well for neat perks like getting 2-day early access to all videos, including the Kirby soundtrack rankings. Special thanks to my head-patting Fluffle fan Pup Trends, Biohazard, Fioriol, Tyke, Jade, and remember, Miss K says, eat your veggies. I love you guys! Speaking of things that I love, despite what the rankings are leading you to believe, I love Super Nintendo music, and I'm glad that I finally get to gush about one of those soundtracks. At 19th place. Man, ranking these soundtracks is brutal. Superstar Stacker, or Kira Kira Kizu, as it's technically called, but I like Superstar Stacker, is in a pretty unique spot for the series. It's a remake of the Game Boy original with all of the same tracks, but not only are there new ones, all of the old ones have been SNESified. Not only is there enough new here for me to not be super bothered by the lack of original tracks, there are plenty of original tracks. I'm glad that when Dream Buffet remixed music from this game, it was properly credited. It would have been so easy to simply say Star Stacker, but no, they took music from this version specifically and credited it as such. And, okay, well, part of this is me gushing about Dream Buffet. I'm equal parts happy because it's crediting this game specifically. To give an example of why I like this soundtrack so much more than the Game Boy version, I talked about how great the beginner music was in that Game Boy version. Cheery, fun, simple, all of that good stuff. It's much of the same here, but with the better sound font, it gets that point across so much better. The same goes for the other added difficulties too. I wasn't the biggest fan of all of them, or really any of them outside of easy or beginner or normal in this game, but all of these are great. The biggest jump in quality for me is definitely the, I guess, hard in this game, but normal in the original. It's all well and good in said original, the kind of track I would classify as rather silly, and it was amped up to 11 in this game. Great instruments and sound font, just all around sillier, so much more fun. You gotta love it. I know I do. None of the others were amplified quite that much, but hey, that's okay. They still keep the essence of the originals and sound better. And hey, the Kirby dance is in this game. I honestly didn't think it was in the original at all. Apparently it is. Either way, this game is one of my favorite variants of it. It's so cute. New tracks, like the Meta Knight fight, plain rule. We're never going to hear a Meta Knight battle theme quite like this one ever again, and honestly, that bums me out like a lot. It's still just a little bit silly, but it has a strange intensity that the other tracks in this game don't quite have. It's definitely not the fastest track in the game, we'll get to that one soon enough, but hearing this, especially after that ominous intro music that plays before you square off against a Meta Knight, there's some great contrast here compared to the rest of the game. Certainly very memorable for anybody who's played it. Various other new tracks play throughout the game, and they're all a delight, be it in the story mode, the versus mode, survival mode, Day-to-Day Wants Me Dead mode. They're all great. And I know it's not a new track, but in my book, this main menu music may as well be completely new. To me, it sounds nothing like the original, and while that version's fine, I adore this one. It is so pleasant and soothing. But Come on, I think coming into this video, we all knew what my favorite track was going to be. The intro music before the Dedede fight, of course. I love any remix of Castle Dedede, and this one is no different. Alright, I kid. I do love the track and all, but there's no way it's the best. The real best is the panic music. Puzzle game panic music is crucial to the enjoyment of a puzzle game, and this one really gets my anxiety like no other one can. Puyo's is good, Panel de Pon having multiple is nice. Tetris, I don't actually think Tetris has any. If I'm wrong, then, you can let me know, absolutely. Oops! But none of them tense me up like this one does. There's actually kind of two variants if you're playing the time attack mode. Both of them fantastic. Golden. No, I kid again. I am just a silly little puppy. My real favorite track is the Nintendo and HAL logo. Video game music seriously peaked right here. And the blimp right afterwards, I'm crying. Just typing this, it's easily the most emotional I've ever gotten out of a video game. All right. Jokes aside, I'm a huge fan of the first two tracks that actually count, Dedede's actual fight music in this game is a masterpiece. Obviously, my Superstar Ultra senses are tingling. This was remixed into Mask Dedede's theme for that game, and it's perfect. But in its original form, it's just as crazy as you'd expect. You think not having it be used for one of the most climactic fights in the series would hurt it in the, slightest? But no. Going head-to-head with Dedede in a crazy fast-paced puzzle game, the speed and intensity of this version, it's just as hard. I can't say I'd take it over the Ultra version because, come on, look at who you're talking to here. But this is still an excellent track. And when it ends in-game, Dedede just kind of goes flying like in Superstar Ultra. It's actually sillier here. I actually appreciate that. I kind of prefer this to really both Superstar versions. It's very nice. I've gone the whole video without mentioning this, but since we're directly comparing it to a track from a different Kirby game now, let's bring Dreamland 3 into the equation. I've been saying the music's been SNESified, and that's absolutely true, but if I were to be more specific, it's been Dreamland 3-ified. The same sound font, same style, etc. And you know what? I think that's a good thing. Obviously, I like Dreamland music. It ranks highly enough using basic common sense, given I haven't talked about it yet. And this game's soundtrack is so different from Dreamland 3 that I don't think the same sound font is an issue at all. For similar reasons, such as new tracks and how different the old ones feel, I also don't mind that a lot of tracks were taken from the original Star Stacker. It all just comes together really well, and it's nice. As for my negatives, or negative, singular, I'll admit it's got kind of a Squeak Squad problem in how, even though all of the music is very good, most of it doesn't have that special something that I like in Kirby soundtracks. This is a fast, upbeat, and fun soundtrack, but most of these soundtracks are. What specifically is making this one stand out? For Squeak Squad, it was the Squeak Squad theme, and here it's the Dedede theme, factoring in Mask Dedede or not. Two big differences that elevate this game compared to Squeak Squad, though. First of all, have you heard this game's music? It is so good. Holy moly! Here's another sample for no reason. Second, I can think of multiple other tracks that stand out to me compared to Squeak Squad's singular one, and unironically, that time attack panic music I talked about before is seriously one of my favorites. It's just so effective for panic. Before wrapping up, I want to echo something that I said 3 years ago when I ranked the Kirby games that's equally applicable to this one. From here on, the mood shifts from me talking about these soundtracks to me gushing about these soundtracks. We've been heading in that direction for a while now, and it'll be a gradual push to, I have no negatives to talk about at all, shut up, but don't expect the obligatory, and here are my negatives portion of the video to work quite the same way from here going out. It'll be more of a, here's a negative, but here's also why it doesn't bother me, which You know, actually, come to think of it, that's exactly how I formatted this video. Maybe I like this soundtrack more than I thought. Well, not enough to rank it any higher. That'd be a little awkward, right? Moving on, Superstar Stacker's music is absolutely wonderful, and I recommend to anyone who hasn't listened to it yet, give it a listen now. It's worth your time, and is one of the most fun soundtracks you're going to listen to on the Super Nintendo. If you love SNES music, you will love this, I guarantee it. I puppy guarantee it. Puppy guarantees are not actually guaranteed. With that, I have to get back to the painful task of talking about how painful it is to rank these soundtracks, so I'm gonna get back to that. Until I see you again, hopefully tomorrow, I have been Klaire. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all around. Bye!